Hello and welcome to Will Watches. This is Attack on Titan Season 4, Episode 20. Last episode was absolutely insane, one of the best of the show. I still think Hero and Midnight Sun are up there, but this is like solid top 3. We had some really important revelations. Zeke and Eren have touched now. It seems like Zeke is going to show Eren his memories or something to try and convince Eren to change his mind about everything. There was this sudden twist that Zeke has much more power in the coordinate, in the paths than we had thought before. We had Falco turning into a Titan. He is now the Jaw Titan. I really want to see what Falco's design looks like. We probably won't get that for this episode, maybe the next one or in a few episodes' time. It seems like this episode is going to be very paths focused, very Zeke and Eren focused at the moment, I think. And of course, the most important thing from last episode, Goth Mikasa confirmed. So there's actually, you know, it might just be a reference, but a lot of people are saying there's some like bigger implications with Goth Mikasa being included in that little montage. Because Goth Mikasa is like from a spin-off comic, so, you know, that could easily just be a little fun reference that they throw in there, but then other people are going, oh, it's the multiverse. I don't think the multiverse is going to be a thing in this. I think it's probably just like a fun little reference that they threw in. So before we get into this, be sure to check out the Patreon. Over there you can find 2-week early access, full-length timer-based reactions, so you can see anything I cut out from the YouTube edit, and polls, so you can vote for what's next. So let's just jump into Attack on Titan. Okay, so we're not in the paths at the moment. They're showing the outside world. Because that's all happening outside of time, isn't it? So it will just be like an instant to everyone else. Oh! Zeke and Eren, Zeke's taken him into Grisha's memories. Is it to show how he thinks Grisha has like betrayed him? Yeah. Seeing his mum again must be weird for Eren, and like seeing himself as a baby. This is fun. This kind of like Ghosts of Christmas Past kind of thing. Him seeing it from a different perspective, traveling through all of these past events. Yeah, he wasn't doing it for personal gain though, he was doing it to get the founding Titan and help the world. No, Eren. I'm no longer brainwashed. No, no chance. Harness. It's great revisiting some of these other characters as well. Kenny. So Kenny knew Grisha. This is where it all happens, yeah. Did he know about it before? He looks terrified here. Procrastinated. He was too scared to ever do it because he didn't want to kill. Like when we see him kill, he doesn't look happy when he's doing it. But he only has the 13-year limit, doesn't he? He can't stay around forever. This is affecting Zeke. Zeke didn't think this, did he? Yeah. Does he think that he loves Eren more than he did Zeke then? Or he just learned from his past mistakes, you know, it could just be guilt. It's not necessary that he loved Eren more than Zeke. But like, it's harder to do it a second time and risk losing a second family. Yeah, exactly. He can sense that he's there. I mean, it makes sense because he has the attack titan too, so he can connect with the coordinate.
ジークがあんなヒゲ面おじさんなわけないだろ。次の記憶だ。ジーク。
Aaron's in control here. It's not Zeke, is it? Memories of the future. Oh, seeing Zeke and Aaron before in the Mappa style as well.
だから無駄だと言った。何年も親父の記憶をさまよう前に。
Yeah.
ぜ争いを終わらせることを拒む。
I mean, Aaron still wants to end the conflict, but he just wants to do it in a different way.
俺は生まれた時から俺のままだ。
Yeah, Zeke's seeing all of Aaron's trauma past.
人から自由を奪われるくらいなら俺はそいつから自由。
I'll steal theirs first.
あんたの心の傷を分かち合う都合のいい弟も。
Yeah, he's always been willing to do what's needed.
父親に囚われたままの哀れな男だ。
Oh, it's the scarf moment. And we're finding at a point where Mikasa isn't wearing the scarf.
その巨人の力は俺の手の中だ。安楽死計画はいつでも遂行。たった一人のお前を救いたいんだ。
I don't think Zeke's in as much control as he thinks.
滅んでなどいない。
Is Grisha writing his books?
大層な遺言を残してくれたもんだ。
You know, it shows something that he kept that family portrait this whole time. He's like seeing Eren at that moment, isn't he? These are like direct recreations of shots before, but like they're in the Mappa style, but some of the art style is still kind of wit, kind of the character proportions and stuff. There'll be some fun comparisons to have here, I think. Mikasa's always been there to help him. This is close to the fall of Shinganshina, isn't it? Eren's just like reliving through this, but Zeke is just shocked by everything he's seeing.
帰ったらずっと秘密にしていた地下室を見せてやろう。
The key, you remember when the key was like the biggest thing in the show, the whole mystery of it? Now we know almost everything. And this is where he went. This is when he went to go take the founding.
私は壁の外から来たエルディア人ミルの民です。
He's trying to talk to them first though.
今すぐ壁に攻めてきた巨人を殺してください。
Oh, because he knows the attack's coming.
食われてしまう前に。
罪から逃れてはいけません。裁かれる日が来たのです。
So they knew it all along and just allowed it to happen. But they're all bound by the curse of the king.
手に落ちるなら再び世界は地獄と化す。
Yeah, when the founder of the Titan falls to a regular person like Eren, he can't use the full extent of the power.
はかつてこの記憶を見たと言ったな。でも嘘だったの。
私の家は
Why is he? Wow.
壁に住む人々は誰も先祖の犯した罪など知らない。あなたが壁の
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
ただわけも分からず巨人に食われることが贖罪だというのか。
It's all about, you know, collective punishment. They haven't done anything wrong, all of these people.
外の人類の命を奪うことを我々エルディア人だけで済むのです。
And he can sense Eren's there, that anger. Is he angry at Grisha? He said he was like disgusted with Grisha, but maybe it's not with Grisha.
分かっている。私が始祖の力を使えないことは。
But my son can.
に宿る進撃の巨人にも。かねてより。
Oh, this music is amazing.
この時のために皆がこの記憶に導かれた。
We were led by our memories, yeah.
未来の継承者の記憶をも覗き見ることができる。未来を知ることが可能なのだ。
So does Eren already know everything that's to come? Then that conflicts with his freedom mentality.
ちぎりで始祖の力を完全に扱えないのは。
He's probably seen himself, Grisha has seen himself that he has to do this.
ここで始祖を食らい、王家の血をここで絶やす。 そういう未来だと。
Or does Eren hate this because he's not free in this moment?
できない。
He doesn't do it.
子供を殺すことなど。
I mean, he has to do it though. They can't splinter the timeline, right?
グリシャは確かに始祖を奪いこの一家を虐殺した。何をやってるふりだ。早くその男を殺せ。
Eren's already seen this moment though, hasn't he?
その男を生かしておくわけにはいかないよ。
So it's a lot different than we thought. It isn't him just like ambushing them and killing them. It might be self-defense if Frida transforms first.
立てよ父さん。
So Eren sees him as pathetic almost.
忘れたのか。何をしにここに来たのか。
Yeah.
犬に食われた妹に報いるためだろ。ダイナにクルーガーに報いるために進み続けるんだ。死んでも。
You keep moving forward even after death. So Eren's the one who like spurs him on in this moment.
物語だろ。
Wow. Has Eren been influencing this whole thing this entire time? Oh, and I love an upside down shot. That's really cool. Zeke is learning so much more from this than he thought he would. He thought it'd all be Eren.
小さな子も潰した。カマキリ。
Yeah, he's not a killer.
レイスケを殺したぞ。父親以外でいいのか。
So he knows that it's Eren influencing him as well.
これで本当に救われるのか。全てを見せてくれないんだ。
So Eren is like stopping him from seeing the future a bit.
これしか道はなかったの。
He wants to see into the future more to see that this was worth it.
叶わない。叶うのはエレンの望みだ。
Yeah, he already knows.
記憶を見た。しかしまさかあんな恐ろしい。
Oh, that has to be the rumbling, right?
お前なのか。
Sees him so clearly.
と辛い思いをさせる。ジジク、お前を愛してる。
Wow.
一緒に遊んでやれば。
What is this doing to Zeke's head at the moment, you know?
止めてくれ。
Oh, look at him. Eren's in the one. He's the one in control here. Come on. Again, another phenomenal episode. I'm really looking forward to the next one as well because it always feels like we go on like these little 3-episode runs where it's just amazing. You know, like Hero, Midnight Sun, The Basement, That Day, and you know all the flashbacks to Marley. And then, you know, Declaration of War, Assault, Assassin's Bullet. There's always these runs of like 3 episodes where it's just top tier. So I'm really hoping the next episode knocks out the park as well. And I think it will. It seems like we are potentially still staying in the coordinate. Eren has like taken control now. So I'm wondering if Eren is going to show Zeke something else now. And while we are in, you know, talking about memories of all of these past events, I am really curious about Ymir now as well. Not Jaw Titan Ymir, but Founding Titan Ymir. I really hope we see some of her backstory and we can see, you know, is all of the Marley propaganda true? Did she make a deal with the devil? What is the situation like surrounding that? Or like, how did the Titan power come to be? Because we all know the propaganda is that Ymir, she did a deal with the devil and gained the power of the Titans. But then we see the Eldian propaganda is she used that power to build roads and infrastructure and to develop humankind. And then the Mali propaganda is that she used that power to enslave the Malians and to commit all of these heinous acts. So I really want to know some of the backstory there as well. So, Zeke's plan completely backfired here. He wanted to go into the past, show Eren how he has been manipulated by Grisha, but it's been Eren pulling the strings this whole time. I am really wondering when Eren kind of started to do this. This is all kind of difficult because it's out of time at the moment now, isn't it? It could have happened at any time or throughout this entire time. I think if we kind of think of the main timeline, there's the moment where he gets some of Grisha's memories about Mali. I think from that point he kind of changes, and that's when we start to see this progression into kind of season 4 Eren. And I think this kind of version of Eren has been like injecting these memories into the past to manipulate the events. But I don't think like the Eren from like season 1 was doing that at all. I don't think he kind of realized he had that capability at that point. But then again, we do see, episode 1, we see young Eren wake up from a flashback, but that could have been future Eren injecting a memory kind of into him. We see him wake up, and that's before he even has the Attack Titan power, But we see, Eren is manipulating the past to do all of this. He's manipulating Grisha, potentially manipulating himself. And we all know Eren's mentality on freedom. And I just think, could there be a future version of Eren who is telling current Eren to do all of this? How free is Eren really when there is all of this time manipulation happening? And if Eren has already seen the future, because, Grisha has seen the future, Grisha has seen something terrible, I'm very convinced that that is going to be the rumbling. If Grisha has seen all that, has Eren seen all of that as well? And if that's the case, Eren isn't really free. He's just following this set path that he has. It's been set by himself, but it's been set by a future self. His mentality of freedom kind of contradicts itself at this point. And I think the reason he was so disgusted with Grisha is that Grisha didn't want to kill anyone in that moment, and then was manipulated by Eren. But for a moment, Grisha was standing up for his own freedom from Eren's manipulation, and Eren really didn't like that. So it seems kind of hypocritical for Eren's freedom mentality. I think he only really cares about his own freedom rather than everyone's kind of collective freedom. And I think this is something that you kind of see in the real world as well. Freedom to bear arms and everything about vaccine mandates and things. But for me personally, I think the antithesis of freedom is death. So when you're using your freedom, but that is putting other people's lives at risk, you are putting other people's freedom at risk. So should you have the freedom to take away other people's freedom? And Eren kind of gets into this a bit as well, because when he killed the people that attacked Mikasa, he's saying he stole his freedom back from them essentially, or he stole Mikasa's freedom from them essentially. Yet my mentality on it is kind of your freedom only goes as far as it influencing and taking away other people's freedoms. There's the people that don't wear masks and don't want to get vaccinated, and they argue that that is their freedom to do that. But my mentality is, by doing that, they are putting other people's lives at risk and taking away their freedom. There's a lot of people who are immunocompromised. They can't leave their house because of coronavirus and things. I have a friend who, she was immunocompromised, and she couldn't leave the house because if she caught something, it could have been deadly. So you'd have to rely on everyone becoming vaccinated and creating like a herd immunity by people not getting vaccinated, not wearing their masks, and etc. That is taking away her freedom to, leave the house and do everything. So, your freedoms can interact and can take away other people's freedoms. It's not a perfect kind of comparison, but there are some kind of similarities there. So in a previous episode, I had this theory that Eren could use the power of the Founding Titan to remove the power of the Titans, like, from existence, and basically free the world of the Titans. But then some people in the comments have said, well, if that was the case, it would leave Paradise up for attack. People, the whole reason that there's the walls and the threat of the rumbling is to kind of protect the Eldians. So I think what could potentially be the case is Eren is planning to do that, but he is going to, activate the rumbling as a warning. Armin has said about activating a small-scale rumbling as a warning to the world. I think that could be the case, where Eren starts a rumbling as a warning to the world, saying, don't mess with us, look at all this power we have, and then wipes the power of the Titans from existence. That means that they're much less likely to be attacked. But then, I don't know how much the world knows about the power of the Titans. Would the world know that he's erased the power of the Titans and then come and get revenge? I'm not sure, but it seems like that could be a way that Eren could do it. Because I'm still, not 100% convinced that Eren is, 100% evil. He is obviously going to do very, very bad things, but he is obviously going to do it for a cause. I'm just wondering, how much has he kind of thought into this? How this must be a plan that he's thought through very meticulously, because he's had almost an infinite amount of time to do it, because, he could do it. If it messes up, send a memory back to the past and then change it again. So there's a lot of things where this plan of his, if he's doing it for kind of the greater good, it could still work out well. Then I really loved all of Grisha's moments here. We're seeing Grisha was manipulated by Eren, and wondering how long that was happening. Was it just in that moment where he dropped the scalpel, or has it been, throughout? Because that makes me wonder, was Grisha raising Eren while also knowing that Eren would one day come to be this one that is kind of manipulating him and is going to do all of these terrible things? Or was it kind of just in that one moment when he kind of finds out? Grisha's breakdown at the end, once he's realised what he's done, then he finally meets Zeke and is like, I've always loved you, I love you, I wish I could have spent more time with you. Grisha, it wasn't that he didn't love Zeke. I think it was the complete opposite. He's always loved Zeke, but he just fell into this trap that he kind of became his own father, where his father gave all of this burden to Grisha, and then Grisha passed all of that burden onto Zeke as well. And I think he was trying to learn from his mistakes with Eren. That's why we're seeing this kind of difference in how Eren and Zeke were raised. But it wasn't that he loved Eren more. It was just he had already learned from his mistake, and losing a second family would be even more traumatizing. I think once you've already lost one family, it wasn't the case that he loved Eren and Carla more. It was just he had already been through all of this trauma and had all of this guilt over losing one family. He didn't want to have to go through that again. And then one last thing, we had this Ghosts of Christmas Past kind of thing. It's not exactly the same, because Eren is kind of manipulating things and pulling the strings from the future as well. But we have seen, if you go back, there are certain frames that I've seen where it looks like future Eren in previous episodes. In episode 1 and episode 2, you can see what looks like future Eren standing in crowds and just kind of eavesdropping in on things. And I think this episode kind of explains that. We are seeing Eren going through the memories and kind of reliving these moments. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. This episode was a doozy. If you did, consider leaving a like or a comment. And if you really loved it, be sure to subscribe so you can keep up to date for all the future uploads. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.